Hi, welcome to the Random Hour. As always, I'm joined with Devin of More Sports, and today we are joined by a voice actor, Chris Woodsworth.
Chris,
Hey
man, the floor
guys.
is yours.
Hey, nice to be here. Thanks for having me on, guys. Yeah. Hello from the UK.
First international visitor.
Oh,
He
really?
is.
Okay.
You
All
are.
right. Nice. Okay. Branching out. I like it.
Oh, yeah.
Hmm. Yeah.
Uh,
Well, yeah, it's just to let you know exactly, like, well, not exactly, but pretty much where I am. I'm kind of in a small town in the northwest of England, between Liverpool and Manchester. So I usually tell people I'm in between Manchester United football team and the Beatles. So yeah, even quite a few of my American friends, when they introduce me, kind of say that, yeah, this is my buddy Chris. Yeah, he's from London. No, I'm not from London. It's the capital, far away from me. Um, but yeah, proud Brit, and yeah, just really happy to be here, doing what I love. Nice to meet you guys.
okay. Yeah, so I'm going to go ahead and ask the first question. What got you into voice acting?
Oh, I was always that person growing up, who loved the the art of creating character. I always did voices, creating voices, impressions, things like that. I think eventually it ended up being an itch I just needed to scratch, really. Influenced by people like Robin Williams, and who not only were able to do voices, but to really change character, change demeanor, and everything that would go along with it, and not necessarily just to make you laugh, but to really take you on a journey, tell stories, and actually have a profound effect on you emotionally. So yeah, inevitably, I just found myself constantly experimenting, and here I am today. Yeah.
Okay.
All right. Our next question is, what has been your favorite voice acting or over gig so far?
Oh, that's quite a tough one. I would say, actually, it was probably one of the first gigs I ever did.
Mhm.
Um, Yeah, because at the start of my career, I did voices for a couple of animated shorts, but one of them in particular, it's actually called Musnad, and my voiceover buddy, from Florida, her name's Ellie Rods. She did two voices, for voiced two of those characters of the that short, and I voiced two characters as well. We kind of split them up, and so it was a fun experience because we were given the freedom to work out like what we were doing really, and so she took the roles of the main character, who's a little boy called Musnad, um, a mythical lizard type character, and for me, I got to voice Musnad's very strict alpha, like, father. He's like a hunter gatherer type person. I put on some sort of accent. I'm sure it was like a mixture of like African and Middle Eastern, really, because I saw an image of him, and but aside from that, I voiced a gentle giant as well. He's like he's called Stone Man. He is literally built of rock, and he teaches Musnad this language, that he wants to learn. Um, that was possibly one of my favorites because it was at the start of my journey, and even though I was recording this by myself, like for these characters, and I was figuring things out at the time. I was learning about maintaining not just this voice, but this character, and trying to explore the different emotions, that he had as well. And seeing it come together, was really cool. Helping the animators as well who were working on it, giving them reference footage. I would act out what the characters would do, as well because they needed that reference. And yeah, we currently don't have our final copies of this because yeah, we were told that it's being entered into like festivals, put forward for festivals. Because if it accidentally gets shown online, it's kind of disqualified in a way. So the cool thing is that right now it's actually at the Saudi Film Festival. That was like a really big thing. They got accepted into the Saudi Film Festival. And I've seen footage of that. I think it's currently happening. And honestly, it looks like the Oscars. It's huge, because this is like near Qatar. And it's like everyone's like looking glamorous, red carpets and everything like that, and it's crazy that our film, that we take part in is being shown there as well. So yeah, so recently I've been posting about it, and it's just a great project that we can say proudly that we're a part of, and yeah, it was fun.
Okay. So we noticed that on your TikTok you did some magic tricks. What is the trickiest magic trick you've done?
Wow, yes, because I used to be a closer magician, and so yeah, that's how I started TikTok as well. The trickiest magic trick. Oh, I would say possibly I would say anything to do with cards because I did quite a bit of card magic, and that was very yeah, very tricky because if you think about it, close-up magic is an art form. Doing card tricks is an art form because whenever I did magic, I never claimed that anything I was doing was like real magic. I didn't want to, uh, patronize people, like that because people would easily roll their eyes or something like that when a magician would do stuff for them. But I would get them to appreciate it and go back to their childhood, the little child in their head, because even though they know that something must be happening, he must be doing something to make this happen. That is true. Something is happening, but it's happening like right in front of their eyes, and I'm still able to distract them while, making sure that their attention is over here while I'm doing something over here. And being able to pull that off, even when people know that something must be happening, that's an art form. And so I would say anything to do with cards. Yeah, definitely tricky. You gotta learn to use your hands. Yeah.
Okay. Chris, let me ask you this. Do you have a favorite football team? Because I'm actually a big, over in the States, we have, the Major League Soccer League, and I know you can't really tell, but I'm a big Atlanta United
Ah,
fan here. Do you have a favorite
cool.
team?
Well, the weird thing about me is that I actually don't follow football here in the UK. That's always been a weird thing about me. But my mother actually does, and she always tried to get me into football when I was a kid, as well. And I would lose interest so quickly. She would try it out, get me to just watch the football on TV with her. I would start watching. I would give it a go, and then after a few minutes, I would find myself getting out my sketchbook and I would be drawing her watching football. But my mum, I believe, I think she still supports Liverpool. Yeah, Liverpool FC. Yeah, so that's her team.
Oh man, that's like right now. Since you're not a big footballer, I'm big on the show. It's on FX. It's called Welcome to Wrexham. It's about
Ah,
Wrexham AFC. You know what I'm talking about?
yes, yeah. Ryan Reynolds owns
Hmm.
it with what's the other guy's name? The, yeah, it's gone out of my head, but
The one from
Yeah, dude.
Stormy
yeah,
Everybody said,
Philadelphia.
yeah. That's how I am too. I'm like Ryan Reynolds and the guy
it
from
feels
Sunny in
so
Philadelphia.
bad. It feels so
Yeah.
bad. I should know his name by now. But the cool thing about that is that um, Wrexham, that stadium, that is actually right next door to the university I used to go to. I did my undergraduate course in animation there, as well. And the buildings are literally side by side. And Ryan Reynolds actually is a supporter of an orphanage in Malawi that my mum runs as well. And he went out to Malawi years ago with a scriptwriter that he had worked with, and they spent about a week out there. Mum had never seen his movies before, but she actually got to give him tasks to do, like jobs to do and everything. Like, and so they did stuff like painting, different centers and things like that. Yeah. But no, it's anyway, yeah, just one or two random facts there, but yeah, he's a really a genuinely good guy, so I can confirm that. Yeah.
Dude,
Mhm.
that is mind blowing. I am such a big fan. I remember before the show even came out when they had bought Wrexham, and now that you tell me you're right next to the raceway, dude, oh man, if I could be at the raceway in person, that'd be gold.
Mm, yeah, because I know that well, my mum is usually out of the country, for long periods of time, like out of England, but I know that at some point she wants to go and see a match at Wrexham, and uh, hopefully, if she kind of gets to see Ryan, he'll recognize her or something like that, But yeah, yeah, she's tried to persuade me or even my dad to join her. I'm sure it'll happen at some point. But yeah, but no, it's a very cool thing. Such a small world, Wrexham of all places. Yeah.
Speaking of animation, so do you have a favorite Lego movie or sorry, Lego game you've worked on?
Hmm. Um. Well, I think one of them in particular, because I don't know where some of them I worked on, they were just so much fun. It's just so difficult to choose. If I had to choose, I would say Lego Dimensions.
No.
Yeah. Because that crossed over so many different franchises. It included so many different franchises, and those of you who out there who haven't heard of Lego Dimensions, the three main characters out of it, they are from different dimensions. You've got Gandalf, obviously from Lord of the Rings, like the Middle Earth dimension. You've got Batman from Gotham, DC dimension and everything, and then you've got Wildstyle, who's from the Lego Movie, and the three of them actually are on this quest together from these different dimensions, and I think it was so much fun to work on because as I was animating the cinematics, like the cutscenes for it, I didn't know what the next one was going to be, what I was going to be given next. One minute I'm animating Daleks, like when the three of them come across Daleks for the first time, from Doctor Who. Um, and and then the next time I'm animating a scene, I'm animating like flying monkeys, from the Land of Oz, or something, or the DeLorean for Back to the Future or something like that, So yeah, and also animating to Gary Oldman's voice as well. Yeah, things like that. So that was one of my favorites because it was just an adventure. If you just imagine like maybe what Batman is like in Middle Earth, seeing certain things for the first time and interrupting the story. So yeah, it was just a wild idea and it was a lot of fun. Yeah.
I know that I know that is going to be a surprise to you. They're making a Funko Pop one, which is fairly similar to Lego Dimension. Um,
Nice.
I'm interested to see what they do with it.
Ah,
Mhm.
okay. Yeah, yeah, I need to look out for that and see what that's like. That's cool. Hmm.
Actually, when they I've had a busy week. When did they announce that? Did they announce it this week?
Yeah, they announced it this week, a couple days ago.
Oh yeah,
Wow. I'm gonna have to look
I've
it
been
up.
busy.
Hmm.
Oh man, Chris, let me ask you this, and this next question: did you animate the video game Gotham Knights? Were you an animator on there?
Yes, I helped out with some of the facial animation. Um,
Okay.
yeah, because how I started as an animator in the industry, because I've been an animator for just over 15 years now. My first job in the industry was doing facial animation for GTA 4 and Killzone 2, Topspin 3. So I was basically tidying up very detailed, highly realistic, like facial animation, following the footage of the voice actor as well, speaking those lines. So that's what I was called upon to do for Gotham Knights. Quite a number of years later, and yeah, so it was cool doing that for like Batgirl and some of the others, Robin and everything. So yeah, the whole thing turned out great. Such a great team. Yeah, that worked on that.
Okay, let me ask this follow-up question because it was a two-parter. Since you had worked on that project and you said you did faces, which character was your favorite to animate? When they told you, "Hey, work on this character," you were like, "Bet." Which one did you enjoy working on the most for that project?
Yeah, so I did work on a few characters in that project, and I wasn't on it for long, but there was something about working on Batgirl, like her face, because yeah, she wasn't quite straight laced. She kind of had like a casual um way about her. The way the actors spoke, and yet there was a slight cheekiness or sassiness, to her, and so it was nice putting those little details on there as well. Like if a certain expression in motion capture just wouldn't really work, we would create it ourselves as well and make it consistent. And so yeah, it was very cool working on Batgirl.
Okay. Yeah, I actually bought that game last year and it was pretty good. The cutscenes were beautiful, and then when we brought you on the show and we saw you had that credit, I was like, "Oh, that's so cool."
Mm. Yeah, oh my goodness, it's yeah, it was just it was a pleasure to be brought onto that because of my prior experience. I mean, yeah, I think at the time I was in between projects. I was going from like finishing one Lego project, and I think another project was delayed, so I was outsourced to this other Warner Brothers game studio, to yeah do some stuff on Gotham Knights, and so after that I was outsourced to another studio to do Hogwarts Legacy, yeah, as well, and yeah, so it was like two lots of facial animation, basically. Yeah.
Okay. Let me ask you this. Do you have a dream project as an animator that you want to work on? Like that makes sense. A dream project as an animator. You're like, "Oh, I want to work on this video game or movie, etc."
Yes. Oh my goodness. Something highly adventurous, highly emotional. Like quite a journey. Um. Uh. Yeah. The type of Last of Us type game, that have characters that are very, I guess, complex and flawed. Yeah, something where it can have like a serious emotional effect on the player, but like in a good way, I guess. And yeah, I'd love to work on something like that. I mean, I've worked on well, most of the video games I've worked on have been very family friendly, I'd say. Um, and yeah, one or two others have been like a heck of a lot darker, like adults only, that sort of thing. But yeah, I would love to get into something like that.
Okay. Has voice acting characters for game shows or movies or commercials made you a fan of any of these shows or characters?
Um, Sorry, say that again, please. Sorry.
So
Mm.
doing voiceovers for characters for games and stuff and movies and shows, has it made you a fan of any of these shows or movies?
Um, yeah, it's let's see. Because I've yet to actually voice in movies, But yeah, because I've been in the industry in voice acting for like a few years now. But let's see, one or two games projects, that I've been a part of. I would say, yeah, it's made me, if nothing else, want to play uh like more I guess like online games. I mean, I wouldn't say like any particular title game, just maybe a certain genre, something that's very intense, quite war based or something like that. Because I think it was before Christmas, I got to voice a character in a game that was in the heat of battle. Um, by the way, I'm like a short guy, short British guy, labeled like African British, but suddenly I was like over 6 foot tall, African American, like really built, and everything, and yeah, to the point that when I started, when I'd finished delivering the lines of dialogue and the director came back, in my ear because they were recording me remotely, honestly. Yeah, he was on the back end of laughing because he wasn't expecting it, but yeah, so it did kind of give me that feeling of wow, yeah, I want to kind of experience this game now, and yeah, I want to play more of this genre, or something. So yeah, it's definitely made me more open to it. Those battles are games, yeah. Mm.
Okay. So here we go. What advice would you give someone that wants to get into voice acting?
hmm I would say, oh yeah, quite a bit of advice actually. So, um, yeah, perseverance, really. This is a slow burn. Getting into voice acting is a slow burn. It's not a profession where you just decide you want to get into voice acting and you just kind of quit your job and then just pursue voice acting. Um, Whatever job you currently have, you need to keep that going. Your full-time job or whatever you're doing now, you need something to fund your voice acting journey because there's no way around it. It's going to take investment of your time and money. And when I say money, it's because you need to train. You need to invest in the training. You need to get the training. Um, because I actually started out taking like acting classes and then moved on to like actual voice acting classes. You need to keep the training going, every once in a while. It's like a muscle you need to work out. And also get good at the networking. You need to learn about the business of voice acting because, yeah, that's something that lots of people seem to miss. They don't even consider that, okay, wow, I got to run my own business now. I got to get good at this and everything. So, yeah, and just know that with the majority of voice actors out there, it takes at least a few years to build any kind of traction. So uh, yeah, so you need to really dedicate yourself to it. Mm. But yeah, that's what I'd say.
Right. I can believe that. Just training to learn different voices, I imagine, probably takes a lot of time and practice.
Yeah, well, one of the things I kind of uh, I guess in the back of my mind, I knew it early on, but boy, did I really find out that that even though I felt like I was putting acting into it, um, at times I would kind of lose myself a little bit. And then I did train with like one teacher in particular who gave it to me straight and really changed the way I was doing things. Because at times I would get so hooked on the voice. I would focus just on the voice to the point that the character didn't have any substance or anything. And you couldn't really tell who the character was talking to, what was happening, what that character was doing, or anything like that. So it is a heck of a lot more than just about the voice, really. I mean, if you can do impressions, and everything, that's quite cool, because that shows you have dexterity. But making something believable, making something grounded, and making something sound like it's not being read, that is something that does require training, as well. Um, so I I think maybe for me today, it takes like one or two takes for me to get to the point where I'm going through the dialogue that's written down, I'm going through it comfortably, but in a very grounded way where it just doesn't sound like I'm reading from a page. Yeah. Um, and so yeah, there were times where um, I've been humbled, in a good way, I guess. Yeah. So, yeah, I still do the voices, and I use them to find unique voices for characters as well. So yeah, it's still fun.
Okay. Um, sorry. What is something you nerd out about?
Um, I nerd out about the whole psychology behind voicing a character. Yeah. When I get together with another voice actor and we talk about like where we mentally go, because if you think about it, like I'm in like a small room by myself, and when I record certain characters, I'm not being directed. I have to direct myself, or I'm constantly doing auditions. I have to go somewhere just in my
Mhm.
head. And so I think even one time I had a conversation with a voice actor about a little like voice experiment that I did. I think it was for a social media video, like a redub kind of video, where I think I was redubbing a scene from All Dogs Go to Heaven, and it was a tearjerker of the scene, and it was probably one of only a few videos where I was shedding tears while doing it, being this character, and so we were talking in great detail about that, and I was talking to her about what what was going through my mind and everything, and the way I described things unexpectedly caused her to cry when we were in it. So I geek out in those moments, about what gets us there. Yeah.
All right. So this is a very important question. What is your go-to snack?
My go-to
Snack.
snack. Oh, wow. Okay. I would say, yeah, for some reason, I seem to have a thing for ready salted chips. Yeah, what we
Mhm.
call them crisps here, obviously, in the UK. But yeah, yeah. But yeah, I do like ready salted crisps, but if there's none. Yeah, if there's none around, we rarely have grapes here. Like in our fridge, because if we have grapes in our fridge, because of me, they are literally gone within 2 days. I struggle. They are just moreish, and so
Yeah.
yeah. So yeah, I need to be fair. It's a guilty pleasure just to clean out grapes everywhere.
Oh man. Yeah, no, it's weird. My go-to snack lately has been Oreos.
Ah, Oreos. Okay, all right. Do you have milk with those, or do you just
Nope,
yeah go for it? Okay, all right. You have
nope.
to go straight up. Okay, so and how do you eat the Oreo? Do you literally break it apart and do the whole
I do.
thing, or do
Yep.
you okay, right. Yeah.
That's like you. I can't. I'm one of those. I'm one of those psychos that eats it dry and I just take it apart.
Mm, nice. Yeah, because it's even like with was it Cadbury's cream eggs? People eat them in certain ways. They either eat them whole or they buy off the top and they kind of scoop out the whole middle bit or something. Yeah. So that's why I ask. And yeah, but how about you, Carl?
I'm I love Cheez-Its.
Cheez-Its. Oh, they are
Yeah.
Moorish. Yeah. Mm.
Yeah,
Yeah, I
Devin
think
can tell
my
you about my
fiance
love for
loves that kind of
Cheez.
snack.
Devin can tell you about how much I love Cheez-Its and great tea.
Oh, I can't. You want me to tell him that story real fast?
You can.
All right, so our second year rooming together in college, it was the middle of the night. We were already asleep, and all of a sudden he goes, "Hey, bud, you want Cheez-Its?" And he starts shaking the box. He goes, I hear, and he's shaking the box. I'm like, bro, it's 2 in the morning. I look up. He is dead asleep, eyes closed, eating Cheez-Its. And I'm like, no, Kyle, I don't want Cheez-Its. Go back to bed. Okay. Eyes closed. He walks back to bed, and I just hear, like he's eating Cheez-Its in the bed. And he
Oh,
wakes up
wow.
yeah. He wakes up the next morning and goes, "Why is my pillow orange?" "You're eating Cheez-Its in your sleep, bud." He's like, "I was?" He's like, "Yeah, you tried to offer me some." He's like, "Oh, at least I'm polite in my sleep." I said, "You sure are. Let's go to class."
Wow, eating them in your sleep. That's when you know you
Mhm.
have an issue.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, well, to be honest, it actually does explain the smudge on your shirt right there, Kyle, anyway.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so.
Uh,
I can't help it. Yeah, jeez, yeah. Well, you know what? Yeah, I will have to tell my partner about this, as well, because she, I don't think she's like them to the point she's eating them in her sleep, but it'll probably make her feel better about herself. I love it.
Oh
I love
man.
it. Yeah.
Whew. All
Wow.
right,
Oh,
so
by the
this is
way,
our
Kyle,
oh,
sorry, I was
Mhm.
just going to say this is very random, but earlier, yeah, I kind of noticed you had the thumbs up appear. Does that kind of work on Skype as well? Oh, yeah.
Yes, it does.
Okay. Yeah.
There's
Have you noticed the
also
others? Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah,
this
there's
one.
that. And
Yeah,
there's double thumbs up, you get that.
I did not know that.
And
we
double
didn't know
thumbs
that.
down, you get this. But Kyle, try this. You know the devil sign, right? Yeah. Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah, just try like one finger like that. Okay, right. In that kind of way where the middle finger's down. Okay. Now do that on both. Like the middle finger. Middle finger. Yeah, that's it. Yeah. And yeah, pinch. I think there should be something. Geez. I
is
don't
this
know
like
if
the
it's
rock
just
and
on
roll
Zoom.
thing?
There it is. There it
Yeah,
is.
the rock and roll.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, you kind of get that as well. I don't know how many there are, of that, but I thought it was just on Zoom. Yeah, but yeah, it's on
Yeah.
Skype as well, so that's cool.
We discovered this, and I was like, Devin, I'm gonna do this during an interview, and I haven't done it on intentionally. When I was like, I forgot about it for a while. And I was like, oh my gosh, it does do that, and I was like,
Yeah.
oh yeah,
So yeah, you just have to remember now. It's like, oh, you guys, and just start doing
oh yeah.
Yep, there it goes.
it.
Uh,
Oh, geez.
uh,
I love it.
Jesus. So we usually use Riverside to record these, but we had a guest like mid-interview. The server just shut down. Skype hasn't let us down yet. So it's funny.
Oh,
We were
wow.
sitting there experimenting with it, and I threw a thumbs up, and it popped up, and we're like, "Oh wow, all right, this is a new thing."
yep.
Yeah, I still remember when I first discovered it. I didn't know why randomly the thumbs up symbol would just kind of pop up, and people were asking me about that. And says, "Look, I see that sometimes. I don't know why. It's because you're doing hand gestures, and sometimes you don't realize you're almost doing a thumbs up kind of gesture." But then I think it was early January. I was talking to this audio engineer, like on Zoom. We were just having a chat, a networking chat, at the start of January, and he got so distracted in the middle of talking because he was using hand gestures. And he just suddenly went, "What the heck just happened?" Because there's so many fireworks behind him and everything. And it took me ages to figure out like what was happening or how to do it. So now I know. Yeah, we find out by accident somehow. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Oh man, but Chris, this is our last question for the episode here. Where can the people at home find you?
Oh, you can find me on various socials, but if you go to chriswoodworthvo.com, yeah, that's my website. Yeah, my socials are linked there. You'll see that I'm on TikTok, Instagram, YouTube, LinkedIn, different places like that. So, yeah, lots of fun content, tips for voice actors, stories, impressions, things like that. But yeah, that's where you can find me.
All right. And as always, guys, you can see me on my podcast, the More Sports Podcast, the podcast for everybody. A favorite episode, Chris, I think you would like is we talked about the sport Quidditch in Harry Potter. That is a real thing. That's always that's a fan favorite. And of course, we've got Popcorn Buckets where we review a movie every Sunday. I feel like in this recording, which one of the episodes we made, it was like the Indiana Jones movies and things like that. And of course, you can follow us on our social media, our YouTube channel, where you'll see the video version of this as well at Random Incorporated. And you can follow us at Twitter at Rando Corporate One and as Instagram as Rando Boys. And then, I'm also streaming on Twitch at DVIOM25. So come watch me cringe and fail at every video game known to man.
Checking it out.
But yeah, that's pretty much it. Chris, do you have any last words?
Well, I will. I will say just if you have any interest in voice acting, how to get into voice acting, or if you want to see any content, give me a follow, or anything like that. It'll be fine. And just keep doing what you love. Be good to each other. And this has been a pleasure.
All right, Kyle, you got any last words?
Redacted.
Boy. Well, until next time, guys.